Ladies and gentlemen, students and faculty, this is the third module in the Common Thread series on cultural inclusion. My name is Laura Hyder, and together Evelyn Jones and I will be presenting this module. Each module is designed to build greater understanding and respect for the people we work with every day. Welcome to Module C, Cultural Competency, taking responsibility for learning about other cultures. Cultural competency is defined as taking responsibility for learning about the cultures of others with whom we work, teach, and serve, and using this knowledge as a basis for interaction. Cultural competence is a critical skill for healthcare providers who deal daily with people from a diverse range of backgrounds. I had a patient from India who was suffering from anemia. I was talking to her about the best ways to get iron into her diet with the assumption that she was vegetarian. After a few minutes, she asked me, couldn't I just eat more red meat? I could have asked a question about her diet instead of assuming that she wouldn't eat meat because of my assumptions about her culture. So, what is culture? Many of us have heard the terms cultural competence or cultural sensitivity, and may know that they refer to an awareness of experiences and backgrounds that may be different than our own. Culture, however, is as varied as each and every one of us. It includes not only race and ethnicity, but also country of origin, socioeconomic status, gender identity, sexual orientation, physical disability, family structure, religious beliefs, and regional differences. People often assume that members of underrepresented groups should learn the behaviors of the dominant culture in order to fit in. In reality, this assumption places an undue burden on those who may already feel out of place and marginalized. It also decreases the chances that they will bring input and innovation to the table. A critical component to cultural competency is checking our assumptions at the door and viewing others with a perspective of humility. Oftentimes, important meetings are scheduled before 8 a.m., which makes it impossible to navigate childcare responsibilities. I'm reluctant to say anything because I'm concerned that I'll be perceived as being less committed to my career. Before diving deeper into this topic, let's explore the definitions of terms that are essential to this discussion. Race and ethnicity. People tend to think that race and ethnicity are the same. They are, however, different. Race is usually based on physical characteristics and is interpreted through the lens of social beliefs. By contrast, ethnicity has to do with culture. It's the state of belonging to a social group that has a common national or cultural tradition. Cisgender. This word describes a person whose sense of personal gender identity corresponds with their assigned biological sex. For example, an individual who is born with XY chromosomes and identifies as a man would be cisgender. Transgender. This word is used to describe a person whose sense of personal gender identity is different than their birth sex. For example, an individual who is born with XY chromosomes but who identifies as a woman would be transgender. Non-binary. This term describes people who don't fit neatly into the categories of male or female. Their gender identity might include characteristics that are both feminine and masculine, or neither. Non-binary individuals might also refer to themselves as genderqueer or gender nonconforming. Intersex. Intersex individuals have external characteristics that are either both male and female, or not typically either. Health disparities. This term refers to differences in health status and health outcomes between different groups of people. Some groups of people experience higher rates of particular diseases and are more likely to die from these diseases. These different health outcomes could occur for members of minority groups based on race, ethnicity, immigration status, sex or gender identity, socioeconomic status, education, and other social factors. While there are many other terms that are relevant to issues of culture, these give us a foundation for examination. The environment here is heavily Christian. I feel like it's acceptable for Christian prayers to be offered between coworkers. I've heard my coworkers pray together. I feel like not only is there no interest on their part in learning about my religious beliefs, I think I'd be ostracized if people were aware of them. One of the first questions newcomers are asked are, "Who are you for?" meaning Auburn or Alabama football. A question that makes those of us who don't come from the Southeast often feel like we're not welcome or don't fit in. Cultural competence versus stereotyping. Imagine two African American women from the same neighborhood. Since they're both African American and come from the same place, it would be easy to assume that they are similar individuals, for example, and have similar feelings about childbirth. This assumption ignores cultural differences these women may have based on religion, family upbringing, or physical ability. Cultural sensitivity is not the practice of grouping individuals from particular geographic areas or primary language groups or religions together and assigning them characteristics. For example, all people from Asia are blank, or most people who speak Spanish are blank. This is cultural stereotyping, which can often be worse than cultural ignorance. When I was trying to decide which graduate studies to pursue, an academic advisor pushed me toward a math specialty, in spite of the fact that I had no desire to pursue studies in math. He indicated that I must be good at numbers because I have an Asian last name.